Frankly, I think if Richard Nixon had had Fox primetime, he would have never been forced to leave office.
There is, we spoke last hour about this sense of immediacy, and we do have, it seems, this insatiable appetite for information and getting it immediately. But there's also where you get your information, and it is so different than the way people got information 40 years ago.
Well, certainly. Look, things happen in their own time, and so you can't make too many useful comparisons of events in different eras. There is no question that Fox is perhaps the most important political development in changing our political culture in the last 25, 30 years. It's been hugely influential, and it's not a news operation. It really is about presenting a particular ideology and point of view, and it has changed culturally who we are in this country. We're in a cold civil war, and I'm not sure we would be in this cold civil war without Fox having been in the trenches of this cold civil war for all these years. But I think let's take a look at some of the comparisons between Watergate and what's happening now. And a real difference between the two is the system worked in Watergate. Thus far, we have not really seen the system work. Richard Nixon tried to make the conduct of the press the issue in Watergate. It didn't work. It's worked much more successfully for Donald Trump. In both instances, the presidents of the United States, Nixon and Trump, tried to undermine the very basis of our democracy, a free electoral system. In Nixon's case, he didn't want to run against the strongest candidate, who was Senator Edmund Muskie of Maine, and he approved a massive campaign of political espionage and sabotage to cripple Muskie's candidacy, much as Joe Biden has been targeted by Donald Trump. The difference here being that Nixon never went to a foreign power to undermine the American electoral process. Nixon did it with this massive campaign at home. The other aspects that are different is the Republicans. The Republicans became the real heroes of Watergate because they put, many of them, principle above party, both in the Senate Watergate hearings and then in the votes in the Judiciary Committee. And when it came time for a Senate trial, because certainly Nixon was going to be impeached by the House and go to trial in the Senate, and Nixon thought he could prevail in the Senate, Barry Goldwater, the 1964 nominee of his party, led a delegation of Republican leaders to the Oval Office, sat down with Nixon. Nixon expected Goldwater to tell him that he would aid him in winning acquittal in the Senate. He said to Barry Goldwater, "Barry, how many votes do I have in the Senate?" And Goldwater looked him in the eye and he said, "Mr. President, you might have 4 votes now, and you are not going to have mine." And 2 days later, Nixon resigned. So that is the huge difference. And whether, thus far we have seen no cracks, no willingness to put principle above party. It is very clear here what has happened in this Ukraine situation. It's not really ambiguous. And the question is whether some Republicans are going to get up and be courageous. None of us, as I said earlier, knows where this is going.
Sure. There's also the question of the American